Welcome back here. Since last year, I've been talking about the punishment of the Punisher and what Marvel has been doing. Ever since Marvel started this whole thing, because some people were wearing the Punisher skull logo while doing something that they weren't supposed to be doing, and some members of the armed forces, I think it was the army or maybe the police and thing, were also wearing the skull logo. Marvel wanted to get rid of Punisher's skull logo and change it into some kind of demon-only looking thing. And then they had Frank Castle get rid of his sword, get rid of his guns, and now he has swords. They've pretty much been trying to absolutely wreck the Punisher on the whole. That's not the only thing they've done, because when they decided not to completely, do a 180 with the Punisher, who better to bring in to do it than the man who enjoys taking things that have already been established and then twisting them into his own weird version, Jason Aaron. When you want something changed in a ridiculously stupid way, Jason Aaron is the one that you call. This is the same man who took the Avengers, who came together a group of heroes coming together to fight and do good and all this thing. He decided to change it to make it seem like the Avengers is something that had been around for so long. It had the whole Avengers 1 million BC. Then he did this whole thing where there are Avengers all across the multiverse, and that there's an Avenger Prime. Spoiler: who's the Avenger Prime? Loki. Does that make any sense? No. Am I going to review it? Hell no. That doesn't seem like absolute and another shit. I'm not even going to touch that. Not even going to touch that, because he did this whole thing where the current day Avengers were fighting the Avengers 1 million BC, and Odin, who was like 1,000,000 years younger in his prime. Odin had Thor's hammer, which is Mjolnir. He was wielding it. You understand me? Odin, who was supposed to be, was ultimately powerful. You understand me? And yet you had Jane Foster, calling the hammer over to her from Odin. She's like, come to mommy, and the hammer just flies across. I'm like, how is that possible? But that's the kind of shit Jason Aaron does. You understand me? He goes in and he changes shit that shouldn't be changed. He did the same thing with Punisher. The whole thing about Frank Castle is that Frank Castle, his losing his wife and children is what set him on the path to become the Punisher. That's a literal defining moment in his life. That is the very thing that set him on his path to becoming the hero of who he is. No. Jason Aaron decided to change that and make it so that Frank Castle was always some kind of homicidal little son of a bitch. It was some literal homicidal nutcase. That when he was a child, he had already killed people. He was mixing napalm, carrying around a switchblade on him and thing. He beat some child so badly that the child would never have children again. All of these things Jason Aaron did to Frank Castle. He even started to push some kind of thing. I don't know what I would be killed, because I haven't been reading this garbage at all, where it was kind of hinted at that, Frank Castle's wife may have had something to do with what happened to the children, because he was no longer this loving family man in what Jason Aaron did. Basically, what he did is that Frank Castle's wife and children were afraid of him. That's it. They were afraid of him. It was just some weird, twisted shit that he was doing, honest. But you would think, well, all of that compounding on it. No. This time around, Frank Castle, aka Punisher, has completely let go of being the Punisher. He has rejected the skull logo, and he's no longer the Punisher at all. Let's get into this. The Punisher rejects his skull logo as a new, reborn Marvel hero. The Punisher rejects his skull logo as he's reborn as a new hero in the Marvel universe, as his powers are fully unleashed against a deadly foe. Okay, so what happened is that they set up this whole thing where Punisher is working with the Hand, and the Hand apparently have been tracking him from since he was young because they knew he was a murderous little bastard, and they wanted him as their leader. So he's now with the Hand, and he doesn't have his guns and thing anymore. Like I said, he has swords and thing now because you know he's with the Hand. And they had this whole thing was setting up for this big confrontation with Ares, god of war. And apparently, right, Marvel dubs the Punisher its new official god of war. Yeah. After Frank Castle, right, Marvel's Punisher series has turned Frank Castle into the Hand's fist of the beast. But in issue number 9, he earns himself another godlike title. Frank Castle has added another title to his growing list of monikers. Written by Jason Aaron here, of course. In the solo series, Frank has been leading the Hand, an evil ninja organization from the Marvel Universe. And this role change is one that Ares felt was unbefitting of the Punisher. I don't disagree. The god sought to redeem Frank and restore his old warlike nature, leading to a massive battle between Ares, Apostle of War, and the Hand, where the Punisher and Ares fight one-on-one. Their brawl ends with Frank killing Ares, causing the Apostles of War to recognize the Punisher as the new god of war. And this is it here, right? He fights him and then he kills him, right? And when he does know, they all recognize him as that. Punisher already gave Frank a new title as the Hand's leader, Fist of the Beast. Being the Fist of the Beast treats the Punisher as an embodiment of the demon that the Hand worships and gives him supernatural abilities. Listen to this, supernatural abilities. Dubbed the 5 gifts of the beast, the Punisher's new powers include the eye's heightened visual senses, the fire flame abilities, the marrow super strength, and the healing blood, a healing factor. Despite not having unlocked the 5th ability by Punisher number 9, Frank can also fly and create flaming wings for himself. Though the Apostle of War recognizes the Punisher as the new leader and god, they do not live long enough to serve him. Frank uses his fire powers to burn every Apostle of War on the battlefield alive, leaving the Hand's ninjas untouched by the flame. Ares and the Apostles of War are now no longer a threat to the Punisher, but he has others on the horizon. Yeah, apparently Daredevil, Moon Knight, Captain America, Wolverine, and all of them are discussing how to take on Frank Castle now that he has become some kind of super-powered nut job. It's like, yeah, right, after he killed all of that, I mean, it's just really messed up. Right, you had, when they say here, okay, let me read it. The issue ends with Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, Captain America, Black Widow, and Wolverine discussing how the Punisher murdered Ares and his role as the Hand's leader. Strange says, I imagine we all knew this day would come sooner or later, the day we finally answer the question, how do you solve a problem like Frank Castle? This is such a messed up pack of nonsense, because you see, the whole thing about Punisher, he's a street level hero. That's it. No fancy abilities, look like that. He's a badass. That's what he does. He's a military trained, expertly gifted hand-to-hand combatant. He's good with weapons and tactics and these kind of things. He fights for what has to be done. This is a man who will shoot some kind of child rapist in the head, who will do this kind of thing. I mean, it might sound horrible and bloody and brutal, but that's what makes the Punisher. The Punisher. That's what people like about the Punisher. But ever since Marvel set out to completely destroy the Punisher because of the whole Skull logo crap, now they've changed him. They sent in their hitman, Jason Aaron, to change him. So Frank Castle is no longer the Punisher. He's no longer the Punisher. Here it is, you see him burning the skull logo. That's what it is. Frank Castle is here with his demon Oni mask logo thing, and he's burning his skull logo there. That's how much they have sought out, and that's how much they think about this. He must never go back to being the Punisher again. He now has super abilities, understand me, all kind of nonsense, where he could see really far, he could control fire, he has a healing factor, he could he could fly and create flaming wings, all of this nonsense. This is what you have done to the Punisher. You understand me? He burnt his skull logo, so that's it. Frank Castle is no longer the Punisher. They have punished the Punisher, and now it's just left to see what the hell is going to come of him now, because this is not the Punisher. Whatever the hell this is, it's not the Punisher, because Jason Aaron has completely changed it once again. Way to go. Mess. Absolute mess. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, remember to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell and you'll find every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.